Hello, everyone, and welcome to Magma Ragers episode 18. With me, as usual, I have Pandemonia, and returning from quite a break of having missed quite a few Magma Rage episodes is Zamok. How
Hi
you doing,
guys.
guys?
Oh, good.
All
Good.
good. Feels good to be back. I mean,
Yeah.
I came last week expecting to do an episode, and then we just ended up casting. So
Yeah, we didn't end up getting a chance to do an episode last week, so we've got a bit to catch up on this week, and we're going to jump straight into our news section for this week. So there's one major piece of news, and that's the card pack changes. Zemok, do you want to explain what the card pack changes are?
okay, well, you're gonna have to correct me if my understanding is wrong because I haven't done too much research into it. Apart from the
Put him on the spot immediately when he returns. Mwahaha.
Yeah. Well, basically, what they announced was that when the next expansion drops, I mean, this is probably the more minor part of the update, but when the next expansion drops, you are guaranteed to get at least one legendary in the first 10 packs you open. I'm sure many people are familiar with the pity timer, where basically you're guaranteed one legendary every 40 packs, and they're basically just making it so that, well, I mean, like in theory, that you've already opened 30 packs, and then you basically guaranteed a legend within the last 10 packs. So you could get one, you could get 10, you could get two. It doesn't really matter, but you are guaranteed at least one, which is really nice because it means as soon as this expansion drops, everyone looking forward to getting the legendaries, and that's something that they're able to get immediately, and at least have just guaranteed at least one legendary basically because they usually give out a lot of free packs. And then I mean that's on the more minor side, and then the really big change that's actually coming to the pack change is that you can now craft legendaries, and you are guaranteed that you won't pack them. So basically,
Unless it's golden, huh?
Unless it's golden. But if you already have a golden legendary, you won't pack another golden legendary. So the change is that card packs will no longer give you legendaries that you already own.
Yeah, which is
And there's already
No duplicates.
which is a really big change because that means you don't get that feels bad man feeling of seeing a legendary when you mouse over it and then it's one you
It's the
already
fourth
have
one.
that's just 800 dust, and 800 dust is great,
400.
but
400.
400 dust, man. As you can see, I
Yeah,
don't
it's always
dust.
been 400.
Yeah, I just don't dust things until I have a huge pile, so I never really notice.
And sorry,
Um,
just to add on to that, I don't know if you were going to continue, but basically, it's not just the duplicate legendaries. They're doing a similar thing with epics, rares, and I'm not sure commons, that you in the same pack you can't open more than two of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
in
you
the same
can't-
pack,
Previously,
sure.
you could have potato packs where you open, like, I remember back in the day, I opened 3 Fen Creepers. And I was like, wow, hashtag value. So they're also doing it now because you can open a max of 2 of any non-legendary card in a pack.
Okay.
That's a little bit, that's nice. It's not
But
as, obviously,
personally, like from a statistics perspective, I like it when it's like a one pack, 5 of the same rare. Like that's so statistically unlikely that's like
Yes,
that's like
but it's
great to
tough.
see. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great
you
to
have a
see
hard
though.
time-
I would
unless
be
it's
happy.
you.
I would be legitimately happy if I opened that because of
You-
how
you have a hard
unlikely that is.
packing.
Yeah, no, but like it's like, but this is like one of
Yeah.
those things of how unlikely it is to walk on the street and be hit by a piano dropping off like a plane, right? Are you going to be happy?
Different thing.
What? What is this comparison?
Okay. Whoa, before we spiral terribly in analogies, let's actually get back to the topic here.
Yes.
So, first of all, let's talk about the guaranteed legendaries. So this means you're
Yes.
going to get, in the 50-pack pre-order, you're guaranteed at least 2 legendaries, which is pretty
Yeah.
significant, right?
Yeah.
And it also means that the fact that you're guaranteed in the first 10 is really nice for people that, let's say, just save gold to start off an expansion.
Exactly.
At least they're going to be guaranteed to get one legendary, and hopefully they can start, building some decks around that, especially with the players that may not pay, may not buy too many cards. But speaking of buying cards, the other thing that we didn't really mention is that there's also going to be a promotion running for Angoro packs, meaning that if you buy, let's say, if you buy 7
get
packs, you get an
50%
extra 2. Well, yeah, you get extra packs basically for your money. So buying 60 packs gives you 78 packs, 40 gives you 52, and 15 gives you 20. So for players that are trying to catch
30%
up,
more packs.
yeah, for players that are trying to catch up, that are coming back to the game, that's a really big bonus for them as well.
Yeah.
Now's the best time to buy packs, basically, or when this promotion drops at least, rather.
Yeah.
The promotion, they haven't announced when it's going to start yet, but I think it's supposed to be soonish, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, it says starting soon, right? So it will be before the expansion drops.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if you're saving gold and you have a lot of cards that you need to buy, this is a pretty good time to buy those packs, especially if you can
Does
get
it
up
apply
to.
to gold purchases
No,
as
it
well? I
doesn't
didn't
apply
read
to
it
gold
fully.
though.
Is it
It
not
doesn't
applied to
As
gold?
I understand, it only applies to real
because
money's purchases.
Okay, okay.
yeah, because you
Sneaky.
can't buy like 40 packs as an option, right? You can double click and choose 40, but you know what I mean? Like it's not.
Yes, yes,
The bundle. It's not the.
Yeah,
yes.
So I think the discounts only if you actually spend monies.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you do that, it's best to buy the packs and not open them, right? Because the best strategy now is to not open
Yes.
packs until the non-duplicate thing changes, as well as
Well,
the
this is now
the
the.
legendary
This is
change.
what people, and I think I've seen some threads people are now discussing in terms of it's always now how does it work, right? As soon as you buy the packs into your inventory, does this,
Hmm.
does the is the the algorithm or
Uh,
whatever is
uh,
it based on the current, and it doesn't matter when you open them, it will still be the current enforcement, in terms of pack rules, or does it only get determined when you open them? Which, let's say,
no,
if you
when
keep
you
them till
open.
afterwards. So I'm not. We must have a. We're trying to see. I'm not 100% sure if you buy, let's say, stacks now and hold them, if the duplicate, the new rules will apply if you open them later.
I'm
No,
pretty
no,
sure
no.
it
It
will.
does. It does. I remember seeing. I'm trying to remember why it happened now, but I remember Ben Bird saying that that is how it works. Is that the rules don't apply from when you purchase the pack. As in, it was something like cards aren't like the cards in the pack aren't determined when you buy the pack. Basically, it's only when you open the pack, and it
So
was the same
okay.
thing for other things. I'm trying to remember what it was from now that he mentioned it, but yeah, I mean, as far as I
Basically,
know,
which means if you buy with this promotion, then you're guaranteed to not crack duplicate legendaries.
yeah, well, because the
Well,
cards aren't
then
really
it means,
the
yeah,
same
if you
in the
buy
pack.
with this promotion and then you save the packs to only open after that pack change comes into
Yeah. Okay.
effect. Like right now, I don't know about you guys, as measly as it is, I'm just saving any packs I get,
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
just
pretty
saving.
much just from Tavern Brawl at this point.
Oh, I should probably do. Oh, you're right. I've just been opening them. Like it's basically that's the
Yeah,
only packs
because
I've been getting is Tavern
because
Brawl.
Classic in particular is a set I have pretty much almost every legendary from. So it's
Yeah.
nice that if I do open a legendary, at least then it's going to be one that I don't have. Even though some of those
That,
are bad, it's
Or to be
just it's nice
golden.
to fill out.
that's
Yeah, or it'll be
actually
golden.
that's another point I wanted to bring up is like you were talking about the benefits for newer players, but one of the benefits for older players, let's say like you and myself, is because my classic collection is mostly complete. I'm literally missing, I think, 3 legendaries from
Hmm.
classic. So which means that now,
You have a much
well,
higher chance of
statist-
opening those ones in
not
particular.
just that, but statistically, within the next, let's say, 60 to 100 classic packs, I should finish my collection of legendaries
Yeah,
I
that's
think
after
quite
the
nice. For
after the pack
for
after the duplicate.
people that want to have full collections like ourselves, that is quite nice, as those are legendaries you don't ever really want to craft. Usually.
guys, you guys are talking like King Crush, but
I'm
I'm
open King
not part of
Crush.
this category of people. It feels bad, man.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
curious
like,
though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah.
it benefits everyone. That's the important part. Like the first thing
Yeah.
that stuck out to me about this whole thing was that it benefits newer players because it helps them, not get those feels bad man moments of like you buy 50 packs and you open 3 of the same legendary.
Yeah, you like.
Yeah, and I mean
Um,
the same changes are coming as well to Overwatch as an aside, which is also something that that community has also been complaining for a long time about opening duplicate legendaries, and I'm like, but we've been doing this in Hearthstone for ages. Why would Blizzard have done anything different?
But they also, yeah, I saw that they're changing, like, they're not the same rule, but they are changing the chances. Like, I don't think they've explicitly created a rule like Hearthstone with no duplicates. I think
No,
they've
they
just
did.
said,
No, they did.
Yeah.
did they?
It is explicitly the same rule. But anyway,
Ah, okay.
let's not get
Moving on.
Can I?
onto
Sorry, that's something I
Overwatch.
wanted to
So
bring up.
yeah.
But on this, I'm curious though. Does the 40 pack? So say you have every legend in classic. Does the pity timer still exist? Because then are you guaranteed to get a golden legend, right? Like,
No, I don't know.
That's a
I
good
think
question.
basically,
Yeah.
I think it's a case of once you hit all the legendaries of a set, right? Then you'll probably the pity timer will still happen, but now that you complete all the legendaries, you'll probably just open duplicate normal legendaries and obviously
Maybe.
occasionally golden. I don't think once you've got all the normal legendaries, you guaranteed a golden legend.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm curious.
That would be cool
Otherwise,
though.
otherwise it's
Oh,
like the most efficient way to get dust, right? Because
Yes.
as a player with a full classic collection, you would just always open classic packs, as you would get
yeah.
guaranteed golden legendaries when you would get legendaries, and therefore you can craft whatever legendaries you want from other sets. So it would just be the most
Yeah.
efficient way to get dust. It's not the
It would
most
be really
efficient
cool,
way
though.
to fill out your like other cards in that you need in a set, right? The commons and the rares and stuff, because you never want to craft
Yeah.
those. So it's still probably better to a certain point to buy cards from the new expansion and then go back and buy
Yeah.
a classic if you just need specific legendaries. But yeah, I mean, just the chance that it also gives higher chance of maybe getting a golden legendary is pretty nice for
Yeah.
players that have like bigger collections. But I mean, I think this
And
is a
raw, man, I like shinies.
yes. I think this is a sort of a really positive change that's going to affect everyone. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset by this, except somebody that maybe just opened a ton of packs.
Yeah, but this thing is like one of the things is like, okay, obviously I'm glad about these changes, but there is that sort of sense of, I don't know, not accomplishment, but that success, like especially when you've been playing for a while and you do actually open a legendary that you didn't have. Whereas now, because it's like it's kind of rigged, right? So like
Yeah, I
it
suppose
feels
I know
a
what
bit it feels a bit better when you're winning against the odds, right? Now that you're guaranteed to win, right? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I
I know
know I
what you
should be
I
upset
know what
about
you
it.
mean. It can make it feel a little bit worse than yeah, but and in slim situations, like let's say when they are moving legendaries to the Hall of Fame, like they did with
Yeah,
Ragnaros, this would be a net
yeah,
negative for players that have a large collection, as they wouldn't be able to open multiple Ragnaros. Although that wouldn't have mattered anyway, because you would still only got the same amount of dust. You would only got dust for the
yeah,
first one.
yeah.
So yeah, actually,
Ragnar
it wouldn't have even mattered then.
Ragnarok. Unless they
Ragnarok.
nerf, they're like now it's come down to if they nerf more legendaries.
Yeah.
Basically,
Then
is
they're gonna
I don't
start
the
think
whole
it's
thing.
making the classic collection very slim. They're gonna have to start pulling things into the classic collection, I feel. But
I don't know. Yeah, that's another topic. I think that's another debate. Actually,
yeah,
that's another
that's
interesting debate. Actually,
yeah.
bringing cards into classic.
Sorry, you had something to say, Zamok?
No, it's just something that made me curious.
Which was?
No, I was saying I don't like them nerfing. I don't like them nerfing. I prefer just moving to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sure. I want to be
Yeah,
able to
but
play Patron and Wild and etc. etc.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I would like to try. I would like to try Patron.
oh, yeah, because this was before your time, hey.
No. Well, I was playing, but I didn't have any expansions at the time, and I was just playing Magma Ragers. That was literally the only deck I played.
Yeah, so I think like that's I mean, I don't know if we have other things to talk about, but in terms of one of the interesting things is at some point.
We have nothing to talk about tonight.
No,
We've been around.
No.
I'm
We've
saying
got lots of esports stuff to talk
I'm saying
about, but
in terms
you
of going back
go
to unnerved, like so, give it a shot. I don't know. I mean, they could either do it as a tavern brawl almost, where you play, let's say, old mid-range druid.
yeah.
You could kind of do like the superstars of a day with unnerved cards, right? So like you could have the original charged giants deck from back in the day play against unnerved patron against
Unnerved Undertaker
combo druid.
Hunter. Will anything be
I do
Undertaker
think-
Hunter?
That's what I'm saying. No, but think
Guys,
about
the
it.
technology
Because
isn't there yet. The technology.
no, but
It is.
We're
If they
basically
can make
perfect
up cards,
players.
they can make new cards, basically.
It's a
That's all.
meme, guys. It's a meme.
Anyway.
Everyone knows.
yeah, but okay, moving on. I mean, come on, charge warrior. No,
That
I'm
would
saying
be
like
a
original
pretty
charge
cool
warrior.
brawl.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
would-
every class basically has a deck like that.
Yeah. The
I mean, you
question
literally
is for warrior. There's like multiple ones, right? There's that giant's charge warrior that was stupid, and then there's the
Yeah,
like
when
patron,
charge
which
still
is
get
the
charged
highest skill
everything.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they would even
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
any last thoughts on this
I think it's
card
good.
pack
I think
changes?
it's good. I just feel like from the whole, they're doing the special on-game bonus packs. I honestly think it's long overdue. I mean, basically, besides this, the only other thing they've had is the welcome bundle, and I really I would like to see more of these, and I think they could have been doing a lot more in terms of offering, variety bundles or starter packs or whatever whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
instead of just the default 20, 40, 60 packs. They could have been doing a lot more of these sort of things
Yeah.
a lot earlier.
Like especially once-off pack buys, like the starter pack thing where you're guaranteed a legendary. Those kind of
Exactly.
initiatives are really really good.
I
Because
think they need to do more of those, and there's so many possibilities. I mean,
it's a digital
someone-
game, so they can just do whatever they want to load packs however they
Exactly.
want, pretty much.
I mean, I mean, like certain other games give you bonus legendaries or give you. I mean, so as a collector, I would love things like alternate art cards.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but
they
the thing
give
is,
you.
it can be very overwhelming for new players. In
Yeah,
all seriousness.
alternate art cards and Texas cards are like a whole different thing. Like
No,
they can be
granted, though, I'm
extremely
saying is
helpful.
like, I mean, they
But
could give
I mean,
bonus legendaries or they could give bonus packs or I mean, there's a lot of unexplored territory in terms of creating bundles. Like you basically take things like the welcome bundle, and now you can say, okay, and now this weekend you get an extra beasts, or this weekend you're getting extra. There's so many there's so much potential. I think.
yeah, that is a fair point, and hopefully we'll see some more of that going forward. But that's all we really have for news. I mean, there's that's the only real major news we've had. There's been a lot of esports stuff,
Yeah.
well, Hearthstone going on that we've had over the last 2 weekends and week pretty much. So we're gonna jump straight into that. And the first thing that ended last week Monday it ended, which is partly why we ended up delaying last week's Magma Ragers and then didn't actually find time for it. But
Oh.
that was the Dreamhack. So Dreamhack Summer ended last week Monday, and in the end, Dreamhack, first of all, for those that don't know, is a really, really big open tournament that happens in Jönköping, Sweden. I can't pronounce that place's name, but Dreamhack is like when I was growing up, uh, it was sort of one of like the big LAN event that you would want to go to as a kid, right? It's like,
Mm.
when LANing
It's like
was
the
the major thing. It's like the sort of, I don't really know how to put it, like the holy grail for LANs, right? Dreamhack.
yeah.
And
Basically, it's a bigger version of Rage.
well, a
It's like it's
much,
a.
much, but
That's what I'm saying.
Dreamhack is far more focused on the LAN portion than the Expo portion, whereas Rage is more
Fair enough.
focused on the Expo portion, right? Um,
Fair enough.
so yeah, so Dreamhack, a really big LAN that's been going for a very long time now, and these days they host some of the bigger Hearthstone tournaments. They have big Last Hero Standing, open Swiss tournaments, and generally you get a lot of the top players. And because this was taking place in Europe as well, we see a lot of the top players being that there is a fairly high concentration of top players from Europe. So the field is very, very stacked for DreamHack, and just making, let's say,
Yeah.
top 16 or top 8 out of the Swiss
It's
portion
very difficult.
is very, very
Nine,
like a big
nine,
achievement. Yeah,
Yeah.
9 rounds of Swiss over 2 days basically, and then cutting to top 16 and then single elim to top 8. But the whole top 16 do get prize money, and so that's pretty good. After that, they move forward with sort of HCT points and other benefits. So in the end, we saw it come down to Orange in the final versus who was he against? Espamito? Yeah, Espamito, I think, in the final, right? But
that's
yeah,
Uh,
he managed to win in the end on home soil for him. With yeah, so obviously Orange from
home
Sweden
ground
and
advantage really coming in clutch.
sorry.
So the home ground advantage really coming in clutch.
Well, I mean, it is nice, right? You don't have to travel. Like it's a big difference versus traveling across time zones and being
and things like
jet
jet
lagged
lag.
and like I think honestly, like in particular, if you're close enough that you can go home in between an event, that helps a
Yeah,
lot because just being
yeah.
able to go home and like properly
Sleep in your own.
refresh
Like a
yourself.
shower.
Yeah, yeah.
Like literally things like shower, food, your own bed. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure they did find shower and food for the other players, but it wasn't
No, I'm
quite
saying
their own
no. I'm
beds.
just saying it's the comfort of your own home, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
These
get what you're going with
guys.
that. Yeah, so Orange managed to win DreamHack, and big congratulations to him. And we saw quite a few established players in the top 8 and top 16, as well as quite a few up and coming names as well. Players like Hunter Ace, up and coming a Norwegian player, I believe. Uh, and yeah, I mean, also a young player. I think he's like 16 as well, and also some other players like Zump, who I know got a lot of respect from the pro community as well for how he played over the weekend. His games were very good ones to watch, as well as players like Zananananan, who
Well,
is
he's
somewhat known, but obviously not as well known as players, like Zixo, Sho, Hoy, Hunter Ace, and
No, no,
Espamito
no,
also a little bit known from the uh, well, known within the Spanish scene apparently, but yeah, not that well known to the rest of us.
No, whatever his name is actually quite well known.
I honestly the name. I know the name mainly because of what's it? He was one of the ones who bought the early Ungoro Zoo.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
when Zoo was semi-playable in like the first week of Ungoro.
Yeah, I was playing it in tournaments then. I
I
don't
remember.
know. I
one of
played
those-
I played Zoo against like Zale playing Big Druid in like the first week of Ungoro.
Yeah, you and I remember because we were spectating each other. You were playing Quest. I was playing like another version of it.
I was playing Quest just to test though. I never liked the Quest version. Like I was mostly playing
I,
the like
I was
the
playing
egg
the
Pterodax
Dragon
version.
Egg.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Guys, I
moving
came
on.
up with something earlier today.
yeah.
The Vorax, you play it as a one of in Paladin. And you play it
Oh,
on
yes,
turn
it's
10
legendary.
Spike Steed, and you just
Yes.
win the game.
Well, that's what people were saying. But the thing is, you got to kind of be alive on turn 10, right? That's.
Well, I mean, Control Paladin could manage it now, right?
It's just
Yeah.
one card,
Yeah.
and the
Well,
control
yes.
button deck is quite flexible.
I mean, you can play it in any of the like the Nzoth decks, because you can also just play the Infested Tauren as well, right? So you get more Infested
Yeah.
Taurens back from your Nzoth. It's not a terrible play as well, because it also protects the Vorax. But anyway,
Let's see,
theory
top
crafting
16.
aside, yeah, the top 16.
Death was pretty stacked. I mean, Deathlore is quite
Yeah.
well known, I think. Dragon Albert, Hoy,
Yeah,
Orange-
a lot of
Orange.
Druid in the top 16. I think it
Powder.
was.
A lot of mainly Jade Druid, eh?
Yeah, definitely mainly Jade Druid. Not much in
Just
terms
check.
of the token Druids.
Because this
Only
gets so
So it
easily
was top
found.
only
16.
3. Yeah, show. So I think it was like Shaman, then Druid. Shaman and Druid were really close in their representation, and then Mage, and then Paladin. Actually, Paladin might have even been higher, but those were sort of the 4 most represented classes in the
There was
last
one
hero
Pirate
standing.
Warrior.
Yeah, no, there was 3 Pirate Warriors in top 16.
No, in top 8, I mean.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at the top 16 breakdown on Hearthstone here,
Oh.
pretty much. That's what. Yeah. So I mean, there's a whole pie chart here even. So Druid was the most popular, then Shaman, then Paladin, then Mage. Pretty much a 1 difference. So 13 Druids, 12 Shamans, 12 Paladins, 11 Mages. Those do seem to be the sort of 4 of the most popular classes right now. And the way Last Hero Standing works in particular with the winning deck staying on means you want to have different counter options, and those classes provide very different counter options to specific archetypes, right? Like the aggro or the Jade Druid is one of the best counters to control. Token Shaman is very good against aggro decks. Paladin also quite good against like controlling decks, and Mage can be flexible depending on how you want to build it as well. So not surprising to see those classes do well. And I mean, Dreamhack is one of my favorite events to watch when it comes to the competitive, serious side of the Hearthstone scene. But when it comes to the not as serious, but also still very competitive side of the scene, we do have Seat Story Cup, which took
Yeah,
place
Seat
over
Story
this
Cup.
last weekend. And do you want to
Yeah.
give us a bit of a breakdown as to what Seat Story Cup's about, Pandemonia?
So Season Story Cup is actually, like you said, it's actually one of the ones I enjoy the most because it's a combination of like really good players, but also just a lot of easily to put shenanigans.
Yeah.
So basically, what they do is as I understand, it's an invite only. It's mainly
Yes.
invite only.
Invite only.
Where basically they invite a whole bunch of people to. I think it's like there's a take
32.
TV or there's a house. There's like basically a house which they basically spend the entire tournament there, and basically the guys play games. They chill, they hang around. Then they get other players to cast the games, and so basically it's meant to be quite like a fun vibe. But there is some money on the there's quite a bit of money. And
Some.
And pride.
And pride, and yeah, I mean, it's obviously. So the guys, I think they still bring competitive, strong decks, and they still try to play their best. But at the end of the day,
A lot of them
it's
do
about
test stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah. So do you
A
want
lot of
to
them too. Oh, sorry.
do you want to tell us your description of Seat Story Cup, Seymour? Because you seemed offended not to have been chosen to describe it there.
What? No. I was just saying, what? I was just saying a lot of people do take stuff and test stuff there. Like we saw a lot of Giants Mage, for example. We saw like even RDU, he took Hunter. He said that he knows it's not optimal, but he wanted to just test things for the spring championships.
Yeah, for Shanghai.
So for Shanghai, sorry, yeah. So for HGT Bahamas.
no, not
Like,
Bahamas, Shanghai.
Yeah,
Shanghai.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's definitely more
I
chilled,
know
as you
what you
said,
mean.
and Yeah, they take more meme decks. I mean, you see in the top 8, it's pretty much only serious decks.
Yeah.
We saw Mitsuhide went. He
Mitsuhide.
didn't have any of those meme decks, and also, I mean, Osaka got really far. Osaka came second. He had easy big, easy dread, easy in his.
I mean, there's a
in his
few players that think that is definitely a deck to watch out and a serious deck to bring. I mean, Sixo brought it as well as Wreckful. I must say I really enjoyed a lot of the times Wreckful was casting over the weekend. Not necessarily a player I watch very often, but his casting was pretty good. And obviously he does have a very heavy stats background, so a lot of the time he was just talking about the stats of certain plays, and that was interesting to
What is
see.
it? What's his stats background?
Well, he studied
I think
stats.
he actually studied it. I think he studied
Yeah, he studied stats, and he also played a lot of poker. So obviously, if the stats background helps in poker as well. So yeah, he's like, I mean, he was the first one to bring up hypergeometric distributions and all these kind of things, which obviously a lot of the players know about, but they don't talk about it very often. Whereas Rectful is kind of, yeah, he was actually very keen to sort of show off his knowledge on the stream rather than just memeing as he's done before. But there's always a lot of memeing to be had, and it's a great tournament to watch a lot of these players meme on stream.
Yeah, the final cast was the best. It was Frodo and Reckful and Forsen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But even Forsen is actually very knowledgeable. Like when you hear him cast and stuff, you can hear that he actually does.
Yeah, look,
Like
I
he's
mean,
not.
he plays enough of the game that he has gotten to know it very well. He hasn't been playing that much recently though, so he was a bit out of tune with some of the meta at the moment. And like I remember him sort of beating himself up about some terrible mulligans he made after he found out. Like even in the final, they were discussing, and they were like, "Oh, I mulliganed that away." It's like, no, you never mulligan that away. So some card, I can't remember what it was, and obviously him getting a little bit tilted afterwards. But it's great to see. I mean, we don't get to see Forsen in particular very often in the competitive scene anymore. So it was good to see him, as well as like seeing players like this, or sort of the more personality types like Disguise Toast, and casters like Lothar and Raven and
Frodan didn't make
Frodan
it
and that
through.
playing.
I
Yeah,
was really sad. He's my boy.
none of the real
Okay,
like casters
Dale.
made it through.
Okay, Dale. So Trump and Frodan.
And Toast.
And Toast.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not but not Amaz and what's that other guy's name? No, I like Strafko. Strafko's my
Strafko's
boy.
like a fan. How can you not like
Wow.
Strafko?
Yeah, how can you not like Strafko did pretty
who's
well.
the-
I mean, he made top 8. Or actually, he made
made
top
top
4.
four.
Sorry, he just lost to a Skarko.
Who's
yeah,
the
in
other?
the
Who's the
semifinals.
other Asian streamer? Like, I'm not a big fan of.
Wait, what?
of
Asian? What does
used to
being Asian have to do with it?
No. But there's another guy. Like I will say, I don't like him. He plays StarCraft though. He used to play StarCraft though. Who played StarCraft?
Oh, my son.
Yes, my son. Oh,
Okay.
I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of stream.
Well, before we go too deeply into how you decide how you pick who to watch when they're streaming, let's get back to this seat story cup topic. So I would
Raven also
definitely,
played. I just saw that as well.
yeah. And Rekful actually he wasn't meant to play because he wasn't gonna make it, and then he did make it last minute, and then Sotel actually gave up his spot so that
Oh,
Rekful
is
could
that why
play.
Sato wasn't playing?
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
Sotel wasn't playing even though he was there. So that was a bit
I thought-
disappointing because I think Sotel's a pretty decent player, so I would have actually liked to see him play.
Yeah, because
But-
he's actually really strong, but he obviously pursued the more casting route instead of. Because I think he's actually
Instead
he
of
used,
his
well, I mean, he's
yo-yo
still a really good
or
player.
playing career.
He's playing
Yeah.
in the Wild tournament actually,
Is he? Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which means
so,
he won one of the qualifiers, I think. Right?
yeah, I don't know if he's
Or
playing
I
or
misunderstood.
casting.
He's casting it.
I think he might be casting it. I don't know.
Um,
Maybe
I
you
think
might be
Boyle
right.
also
He might be
played.
playing it. I just know he said he was getting ready for it, but I assumed that meant as a caster. I don't know. I would definitely
Yeah,
like to see him play. I was sad that he didn't get to play in this, but I mean, Rekful was
Basically, it
pretty
was a
good.
whole bunch of well-known players. I mean, literally nearly everyone on the list. You've heard of before. You've seen.
I mean,
There's
probably
very
the
few.
only
I
player I
think
don't actually know on this list is Impact.
I've heard of Impact.
I mean, like,
Isn't he a
yeah,
French
but I
player?
don't know. No, well, he's
Crane did
Canadian
well.
apparently.
Crane did well in one of the BlizzCons, eh?
Yeah, no, I know Crane. I mean, he's plays
Crane
for
went to
Complexity.
Winter Playoffs,
Yeah, I remember.
and he plays for Complexity.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I mean, we've seen him play in stuff like Trinity series as well. He played alongside Yagut and Bunny Hopper. Yeah.
Who's
No,
Oh
no, Bunny
yeah.
Yagut?
Hopper was Virtus Pro. Uh, who was the rest of the Complexity team? Oh, Super JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he played for Complexity. Well, actually, he still plays for Complexity. He just doesn't play Hearthstone anymore. But before we get too sad,
So moving on. Okay.
yeah. So moving on from Sea Story Cup, there's the other tournament which has been going on for quite a while. We haven't really covered it that much, but that's Hearthstone Global Games. Personally, I haven't really been watching too much of it, to be honest, as it tends to happen a lot during the week and also often when I'm at work, so that doesn't really help. Uh,
It's also quite boring at the moment. Let's be real. Like,
Yes, the first phase in particular could be quite boring at times because
What's group
let's
stages,
say,
bro?
yeah,
yeah,
because
and
of
you
the group
don't know
stages.
players, right?
Yes, and there's a lot of unknown players because of the countries they're getting from. Unfortunately, there's no African countries being represented in this, which is quite disappointing to me. Uh, it seemed to be because there's just not enough HCT points being earned. That's at least the reason we got for South Africa not being included.
Yeah.
As I mean, I definitely would have paid a lot more attention if I was taking part. But we've also seen some big countries drop after the first phase. As the first phase, which is a very big group
Romania.
stage, a very big group stage that's finished now. And we know the teams or the countries that are going to be making it through to the second group stage. So some of the big countries that dropped from the first stage are like UK, or, United Kingdom that dropped. Well, not a country, but region, for in their case. Um, what other big teams dropped? Ukraine made it. Russia dropped, didn't they?
Yeah, Russia
Yeah,
dropped.
Russia dropped, which is obviously big. I mean,
Romania
that was
dropped.
like Pavel,
Romania dropped. It was
Stancevko.
stupid how Romania dropped. Like they
Not.
shouldn't have.
Oh
Peru
yeah,
had to get 2-0, had to get 2-3-0s against USA and UK.
yeah. That was like the one few times I watched because that was like all over Twitter and everyone was hyped about that game just to and yeah and a lot of the UK players were memeing that they were gonna um that if they lost like RDU in particular was gonna be sad and they definitely didn't throw anything like I don't think there was anything dodgy there but yeah Peru managed to just sort of scrape through sort of surprisingly I would say there's still some very strong teams in this in the groups and I don't know if you guys have the groups open in front of you but like any sort of standout groups you think here
Well, I mean,
well
uh,
shall we just
I
go through
really
them
like
at
the
first
USA team for one, just
yes
because like Firebat, it's cool to see him competing. I mean, he was world champion a very long time ago, but you
A
hear what
very
he,
long time ago.
well, I mean,
well
like in the birth of Hearthstone.
2015 is a long time ago was it
Pepperidge
2015
Farm remembers.
2014 2014
Yeah, it was
Pepperidge
2014.
Farm remembers.
It was
I
like it was quite long ago.
it is
It's cool to hear like he still keeps up with the game and he still like he does actually still play competitively. And Amnesiac also like really like if not the strongest player or definitely one of the strongest players in the game.
or at least he likes
Um,
to think so
no, but I mean, okay,
I
you
mean,
can't
I
argue
mean,
with
he
the,
is. He is, but like his attitude can definitely be a bit
yeah,
obnoxious to a lot of people.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you saw, like he dominated Hearthstone last year. Even this year, like the first playoffs, like you saw, he talked trash on Twitter, and then the first playoffs he made top 16. He actually made top 8, I think. Yeah, he made top 8 in that. He lost to Frozen. If you guys remember that, that was last.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Yeah.
yeah, like
I still remember him losing to Pavel.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
like, and then also Dog's like a really cool streamer, and like it's cool seeing him in the team. So I don't know. I'm supporting Team USA a lot. I think they've got a really cool team, and I mean, it's not like they're the underdog, so it's not like. I mean,
yeah.
it's not
Who's their
unexpected.
who's their who's their anchor again?
Hotmouth?
Oh, yeah, Hot Meowth as well. So obviously, like he's the anchor for the teams is the player that earns the most HCT points.
Yeah.
Over I'm not actually sure what period it is, but either way, obviously Hot Meowth is there like purely on merit. He did do well last year in the Americas Championships as well. I think he won one of those, didn't he?
Yes, he
When there
did
was
because
a different format.
no,
Yeah.
because he went to BlizzCon,
Yeah, true. Only the
and then
winners went to BlizzCon.
he actually made BlizzCon like BlizzCon, so he got through the qualifiers, and then he bought meme decks.
Yeah,
Oh
Blood
yes,
Warriors.
I remember that. What's it? Blood
Oh.
Warrior.
Anyway, so yeah, I think the US group. Speaking about that, that's Group B with Czech Republic, Israel, Belgium, and the US. I think Belgium are definitely going to be the underdogs in that group. I mean, they've got some good players like Maverick. I don't actually know who's playing for the Belgium team, but I mean, I know Maverick is a Belgian player. Israel actually also not to be like underrated, I think. And Czech Republic obviously pretty strong. Stan Sivka, the sort of standout player on that
He's
team.
also my hero.
Oh,
That man, Francisco.
I wonder what he doesn't have in common with your other heroes. But let's see. And then Group A, Norway, Singapore, Malaysia, China. I think a sort of a weaker group
China's got
overall,
a good team.
obviously, except the exception being China. They obviously
I
a
think
really
China's a
strong.
powerhouse.
Yeah. Definitely, I think probably one of the favorites going forward. Then we have Group C, Philippines, Argentina, Netherlands, and South Korea. South Korea and Netherlands, obviously, both very strong teams. Netherlands with Mitsuhide, the winner from Seed Story Cup, as well as Tice, Tyler, and um, Gookboy, I think, is the fourth player for
Wouldn't it be
Netherlands.
Guapo?
No, it's Gookboy. Anyway, um, memes aside. Then Group D, Hungary, Taiwan, New Zealand, Brazil. Somewhat of an underwhelming group, I would say. Brazil probably favorites in that group. Uh,
Yeah, Brazil.
and then Group E, Peru, Greece, Ukraine, Austria. Life coach's wife is playing for Austria. So
Yeah.
interesting to see her get that far. Ukraine, obviously a very strong team. Nyria as well as Kolento.
What are you
And
implying, dude?
huh?
Well,
What do you-
Austria also has Game King, huh?
Oh yeah, you're right. Austria does have Game King. Yeah,
Game
no. So
King
Austria
and
actually has a pretty strong team.
yeah, I mean because of the Game King,
I
Johnny
mean,
Stone, Ziegenteig, and Wife Coach. I'm not so sure about Johnny Stone and Ziegenteig, but I know Game King's pretty good.
yeah.
Johnny Stone is an established player as far as I know.
Yeah, and then the final Group F, Mexico, Canada, Italy, and Bulgaria. Canada, obviously, one of the standouts there in that group.
Yeah, Canada.
So there's still quite a few strong nations making it through, but also quite a few of the sort of more surprising, weaker nations, let's say. So, it's definitely maybe an interesting event to watch if you sort of are more skewed towards that sort of national pride way of supporting countries. Personally, I still can't say I watched too much of it, and there's still a long way to go before, I don't know, it
Because
gets
also I think
all
they've been
that
streaming it
interesting
at some
for me, to be honest.
awkward hours sometimes
Yeah,
as well, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like that's the thing. So I've watched it, but I think I watched some of the early group stages, and then it's just a matter of time, and life happens.
yeah. Well, I mean, after this phase, they're going to be going into a 16-team single elimination bracket. The top four teams will then advance to the global finals, and I'm pretty sure I'll at least watch it then. Hopefully, we can get some
Yeah.
strong teams through. It will be great to see some players like Firebat and that being more on and Dog in particular as well being, on that competitive stage, because for the American team in particular, like there's players there that, in those two at least, that are not so focused on competitive Hearthstone anymore, and in some ways that can be an advantage to them as they can spend more time on
Wait, which
focusing
two are you
on
talking about?
Dog and Firebat. Because Amnesiac and Hot Meowth are obviously focused on HCT and all that other stuff as well. But, Dog and Firebat are both very capable players, obviously. And by not being that focused necessarily on other like HCT events and like Dreamhack and those kind of things, at least as players, they can focus a little bit more on the global games, and performing for their country. Whereas, like, let's say the Netherlands, Tyler, Mitsuhide, Gookboy, and Tice are all relatively focused on HCT and other events. I mean, three of them were at, Mitsuhide, Tyler, and Tice were all at Seat Story Cup over the weekend, and they have their games coming up soon and had to prepare for it whilst they were still already at another tournament. So, especially with Mitsuhide making it all the way through to the final, that can be a little bit difficult for preparation sometimes. So, I think that might be part of the reason we've seen some of the more well-known countries sort of struggle, as that maybe the players have struggled to manage their time for this tournament.
Sorry, just did South Korea and Japan make it through the group stages?
South Korea did, not Japan.
Didn't Japan? Because I was just
No.
looking, they were pretty stacked as well.
Yeah, but Russia didn't make it through. Like that says it all.
Yeah, I mean, Russia is like Pavel, Stanodachi. Who else was
Oh
on the
yeah.
Russian team? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, those two players alone the winter championship and the world championship from the previous is a pretty stacked team. So you would have expected them to do a bit better, but unfortunately they didn't. But the phase 2 starts this week, I believe. So
Maybe start watching more of it, eh?
yeah,
Oh, yes, it was Pavel, Standardachi, Inner, and Silver Name. So it
yeah,
was super stacked, and
yeah,
yeah,
as you'd expect from uh, that
Mother Russia.
from the Russian. I mean, Russia has become a very, very strong team or sort of strong country in Hearthstone. So, yeah. They also did a nice sort of recap video, which was on the launcher for the client, which was interesting to watch. You know, that had Firebat and Zoe and I forgot his name, one of the other British casters. And yeah, but
British
anyway,
classes.
it's yeah, that's all we really have for the esports. There's quite a lot that we've covered in terms of the esports and stuff. I don't know if you guys have any other discussion points you want to talk about before we sign off for this week.
It's just
Uh,
hopefully what new expansion gets announced at some point soon.
Well, I'm
'Cause
pretty sure they're gonna announce it at Shanghai.
yeah, Shanghai's in a
I'm
few weeks' time, eh?
pretty sure they either announce it the week before Shanghai and do some more card announcements at Shanghai, or they announce it at Shanghai, I believe. Like, I'm pretty sure that's
Shanghai's in
what's
a
gonna
few weeks'
happen.
time, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's check. Because I know it was soonish. I didn't know the exact date.
Yeah, I don't
When
know the
is it? Let's
exact
see.
date for Shanghai either, but it will be pretty soon.
isn't it in like 2 weeks?
I think it's
The-
before that. I don't know. I know the next
Where?
Dreamhack is actually at the
Oh,
end of July
7th of
as well.
July. So it's a week and a half actually. 7th to the 9th of July.
Oh, okay. So it's not this coming weekend, it's next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite exciting.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. We've been sort of spoiled for Hearthstone esports over the last few
Yeah,
weeks with
yeah, it's
DreamHacks
been.
and like even afterwards, the end of July, there's also another DreamHack coming up. So yeah, I think it's DreamHack Valencia or Bucharest. Usually there's another one that happens in Europe at least. Um, but yeah, lots of competitive Hearthstone for everyone that's interested in that. And yeah, I think that's all we really have for this week.
Hmm.
Do you guys want to say anything before we end? Shout outs or anything like that? Plug your
Pretty much said.
Twitters. Okay, well, if you want to find out more from us, you can find out more from Zaymok at Peaceful Dinks. I actually think it's peaceful underscore dinks,
Peaceful
right?
underscore things.
Yeah, I messed it up on the overlay. Um, and then if you want to find out more from Pandemonia, it's at Dale Pun because he just used his real name. Uh, and from me, you can find out more at Dib underscore gaming. There's also, oh yeah, also the ESL Africa Championships. We actually forgot to mention that almost. The ESL
Oh
Africa
yeah.
Championships, the group stage came to a close over this last weekend, and we saw the 4 players that are going to be advancing to the playoffs. Keep an eye on my Twitter as well as Quese's uh, Twitter as well as their Facebook page and ESL Africa's Twitter and their Facebook page for announcements to find out more about when we're going to be doing the top 4 playoffs. That should all hopefully become clear soon, and I'm very excited for that. It's going to be a great event, I think, and it's going to be good to see these top 4 players playing off. Congrats to Scythe, the lone South African player, for making it, as well as Expert Sama, Exia, and Saliom. All 3 Algerian players making it in the top 4 is a pretty impressive feat from their side. Definitely giving the South Africans a lot more to live up to in the second season that's going to be coming up later in the year. So yeah, the VODs for that are all available on the ESL Hearthstone um, B Twitch channel. So go and check those out. There were some really good games. Yeah. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will be back next week for another episode of Magma Ragers. Please like, subscribe, do all those things on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching this. And thanks a lot. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Just guys.